I am sick of this, and I'm a Canadian, but this is happening across the world in so many countries. And it blows my mind how you have these people that live amongst you, and instead of focusing on what matters and actually coming together to find a solution, they just rebel and fight. There's no common sense. There's no real understanding on what happens. I live in Alberta, and I cannot believe that Mark Carney was elected. And that happened because of people in the East and Edmonton, some British Columbians. The problem, when government spends more, COVID was a good example. What blows my mind, when COVID happened and the government just gave out free money, that wasn't free money. The reason that free money made all of this happen is because less people worked, less was produced, so prices went up. It's basic. I'm going to read this. The Canadian Taxpayers Federation. So we pay a debt, and depending on different ratios, there's a credit rating based on each country. There's a lot of things that happen here. Every second, our country, Canada, pays $878 per second in debt. It's like paying interest, which is $52,700 per minute. I said that 701. 3.1 million per hour. Every single day, we pay $75.9 million in interest on the debt that our country has. What people don't... You need to get out there and work. There's a lot of people who just mooch from the system. And Canada, the Liberal government strives on just giving away free money. You don't need to, we'll just give you some money. That is not the way our country can operate. And it is detrimental because there is going to come a time, this is why I don't understand how Mark Carney got elected. I think the problem is people just don't understand how economics work, how world governments work, and they're just like, free money. That's not how it works. And any citizen who has a brain and cares about fellow citizens should be out there working. They should be caring. Even if there's times bad things happen in life. And of course, there should be government assistance, but it's gotten to a point the government is just burning money on so many things that don't make sense. Stop throwing money out there. And I'm not... Look at the money we gave to Ukraine. How did that help us? How did that help us? The first time that Putin invaded Ukraine, before this previous time, I was younger. I was so mad. I have my part of Alberta. There's Ukraine heritage, and my family's part Ukrainian. I was so mad, and I still remember that feeling. I actually went on the internet to the Russian government's website, and I'm like, Putin, what are you doing, dude? Like, it just no understanding of how the world actually works. I was so mad. But that doesn't mean it's really hard to figure all of these things out, right? I really wish that people would recognize that there's parts of the world you have no choice but to go to war. The amount of Ukrainians and Russians who had no choice. There was some random person who said, "You're going to die." No choice, so they went and died. For what? A lot of people don't like Donald Trump, but he's the only one trying to find peace. He is the only one trying to find peace. And a lot of Canadians, the way they react to him, he's fighting for his country. He wants to make his country great. And when you look at all of Canada, as an Albertan, I really do wish we separate. I would rather take the time to find a deal with the US rather than give all these payments to other provinces. You have Quebec and you have BC. Everyone in the middle is on their own. This country could be so much more prosperous, and I really do not like how divided this has all become. And instead of looking at things as black and white, people look at things as divided. And there's so much fight about things that just don't matter. And you have Mark Carney, BlackRock, this guy. How Canadians elected a billionaire of all people, Pierre Poilievre. It is wild to go online, on X, other places, and everyone calls him PP. Why? These people don't understand basic economics and how things work. And it blows my mind. We need to stop spending. Prices keep going up. And as the prices keep going up under the Liberals, you have these people who think, okay, I need more free things. Give me more free things. And then I'll vote for you. It's only going to bring the prices up more. Like I said earlier with COVID, the reason everything is so expensive now is because everything was shut down. There was less being produced and less people working. So it brought a halt to all of this. So many things, and it's why prices went up. This is such a simple thing to understand, but I feel like 80% of the population just doesn't get it. I'm really hoping that, well, I'm not hoping. Things are going to get a lot worse before they ever get better, because the budget Carney just put out he's spending too much money. People need to get off their butts and work. There's too many people who choose not to do that, and they're just taken off the till. They're just like, go to work. And then you have the safe supply stuff. Free drugs. What are you politicians thinking? At a certain point, I truly feel like I'm living in a simulation, because how are politicians that stupid to give free drugs to drug addicts? In what world does that make sense? Alberta's, like BC went off the rails with that. Alberta's approach is, hey, no, you can't do that. We're going to help you. And then BC, no, you can't have a pipeline in Alberta. It's like, these people, they're all crazy. What do you do? At a certain point, what do you do? When it comes to Alberta's separation, there's a lot of people saying, no, it's never going to happen. I really think there's a good possibility it might, because it needs to. You have sexual images in children's schools, and you have people being like, no, that's good. And they got, the purple hair and nose rings and 500 pounds. These people are nuts. They're nuts! Personally, I don't have kids, but at a certain point you have to rise up and fight for that better future. And it's wild to me that there are parents who don't think that way. It's wild to me the amount of single people who are just off their rockers. They want everything for free. They don't want to work for it. They expect everything to be handed to them. At a certain point, all of this, it needs to end. It has to end. Having Mark Carney voted in was the worst decision Canadians ever made. And I don't feel Canadian anymore. I truly don't. Elbows up! Everything he promised was fake. Where's the deal with the Americans? Why are there still tariffs? Doug Ford, look what he did. And he's proud. He's like, that was the best commercial ever. The idiots. These people are stupid. I really don't know what to say anymore. This is ridiculous. It's crazy. I wish Canadians would just stop. Stop! Take the time to do some research. Stop with this my side, your side, and everyone complaining. Stop! Take the time to do some research to see exactly what you are talking about instead of talking out of your... I made YouTube videos before, and I just have to say what I need to say, because This country really needs help, and if we don't do something soon, it's over. This is getting really bad, especially with the new budget Carney put out. This country will not survive. Costs are going to go up even more. It is wild how people trust politicians. You can't trust any of them. You just need to do the research and find the one that actually lines up more with reality than the other one. I was proud to be Canadian at one time, but I can't do it anymore. And this is not a good place to live anymore. And it's really sad because when I was young growing up, it was great. There's a lot of talk about immigrants and all that. I know a lot of them. They're great people, good people. But they've been brought in way too fast. And it's created a lot of problems. Where I live, that isn't an issue. I live in Alberta. There's oil and gas. You always need employees, so there's no problem. But when you look at a lot of small towns, other places in the country where immigrants have been brought in too fast, it's destroying lives. And it's devastating. It really is. And it needs to stop. The Liberals need to stop. And Canadians need to wake up. I really hope that does happen. Because if it doesn't, if all society expects is free things, it's over. Rise up, get a job, find a way to make extra money, do whatever you need to do. But the second we accept a society that does not do that, inflation, depression, prices are going to go up, and it's over. And it's really sad. Like, legitimately, it's sad. I'll leave it there. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just angry and depressed at this entire situation. Because I do not believe Canadians will ever wake up, and this is only going to get worse. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, subscribe. If you made it this far, leave me a comment.